definitely kind of want to share my thoughts about this whole conspiracy theory about Conformity Gate, and could there be another episode and whatnot. But it's definitely interesting, and yeah, it's kind of unfortunate how Netflix has, they gave a lot of clues from it was like 12 p.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m., and then they stopped. It's kind of funny, and but with that, I guess I've just. I wouldn't be surprised if they just did that just to kind of just mess with us and fool with us, and just looking back at it, and I guess just to kind of get to what I want to try to get to and get to the point is that I feel like when it comes to certain things within a show, or one thing that I have noticed is and I'm sure you guys can all agree with, I feel like every show, especially if it's a good show, and at the end of each episode, it'll leave a pretty good cliffhanger. I feel like the Duffer Brothers have done a great job with leaving cliffhangers in every episode throughout all seasons, and with that, with season 5 being the finale and more than likely episode 8, with that being the case, it leaves you with a big cliffhanger because, it's been noticed, there's a bunch of plot holes, a lot of inconsistencies, things don't add up, based off of what happened in season 5. So, and that's something that, that I was trying to figure out. I'm like, a lot of things don't add up, and and I don't really need to go into detail with all of them because I know most people have made videos about them. But I was thinking, I'm like, I really wonder if that was intentional on behalf of the creators of Stranger Things. Because it's I think some of them could just be, some of them could just be just plot holes, or it could be not plot holes, could just be continuity errors. Because when it comes to TV shows and movies, continuity errors can happen from season to season or episode, so that's completely plausible, and that's the thing. And I know some people will say the door handle is different. As an example, but it's just that can be something as simple as a continuity error. That's not really this is proof that it's not the same. But it's just I don't think Vecna ever went to the Wheeler's home at all. We know the Demogorgons went there, but I guess if you see my point is just I think it's now. I guess but the question you have to ask is with these plot holes, did the Duffer Brothers do this intentionally or not? I think there's an argument on both sides. They could. And if they did, if that's the case, well, I feel like that leaves a big cliffhanger for the future of the franchise, really. Because just because we do know that, there is an animated series coming that's mainly designed for seasons in between, I think, seasons 2 and 3, if I recall. So with that, we do know that's coming. And the Duffer Brothers did confirm how there is a new spinoff coming with a new story, new characters, and everything. And with everything with how everything ended in season 5, episode 8, could it be answered in the new spinoff? Absolutely, it can. And it doesn't necessarily have to be answered within inside, or it doesn't have to be answered in a hidden episode 9. I think by the looks of it, it looks like it's not coming out. But at the same time, though, we do know it is confirmed there is a documentary coming on January 12th. So, we know that's coming. And and there could be and you never know, there could be unseen footage that can help explain things regarding, the things that didn't add up. Or maybe in the documentary, you never know. The Duffer Brothers could just talk about all the behind the scenes, which I think is going to be really cool. And I think it's going to be really cool to watch it regardless. And I'm sure everybody's going to watch, especially the fans, or be like, oh, we're going to notice this and all that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is just it was kind of how all these fan theories have popped out, especially in the last week. And Jamie Kimmel Bauer was made that workout video and kind of hinting at some of the things that I think that was released January 6th, and then regarding yesterday, January 7th, on the Stranger Things social media pages, they released something about Shock Jock at 12 p.m. And then at 2 p.m. they released something about what was it? Meet Me in Philly, and one of the pictures showed a 9, like, oh, there's a 9 coming. And then at 4 they showed really miss you guys, like that clip of it showed all the 4. They showed Jonathan, showed Nancy, showed drawing a blank on her name, Robin and Steve. Like it's not the same without you guys. And yeah, I mean that can be interpreted as that could be in episode 9, but that could also mean really miss you guys. It's not the same, and that could just be hinting toward the documentary behind the scenes stuff. And that's the thing. The Duffer Brothers could come out, and I think with being able to put all these theories up now, I feel I wouldn't be surprised if we know the documentary is coming, and I'm sure they're making the final edits before January 12th, and I'm sure they're making a segment now saying hey, they could be upfront with the fans because the whole point of the documentary is trying to help people understand kind of showing all the behind the scenes, kind of what all went into it, and it's really cool seeing behind the scenes stuff, really, and and really trying to understand kind of the creator's perspective on why they wrote this, why they went down this route, and those questions can be answered. So my point is even though if there's not an episode 9, which looks like there isn't, at least we can get an explanation from the Duffer Brothers, what their purpose of it was, and why they were messing with us on January 7th. Yeah, it's kind of funny, and I'm sure the Duffer Brothers and all the actors are probably laughing their heads off about all this stuff. And yeah, it's heavily theorized, and I still think it's a great show. And yeah, it may not have ended the way we wanted it to end, which is okay. But so with that, it's just but so if you see where I'm going with it, it sounds like it's something I feel like these questions are going to be answered soon. Whether if it's in the form of the documentary, whether if if we don't get an episode 9, that's not the end of the world, because really, when you think about it, if you get to a point into a series where it has the potential to become a big universe, the Stranger Things universe can be like that, and and with spinoffs, and I remember hearing the Duffer Brothers saying how when they came to design the ending or try to come up with an ending, they wanted to try to create in a way to try to help create potential spinoffs. And yeah, I feel like you can do that with any show, really. And yeah, and we've seen that with I don't know. Yeah, or the spinoffs could be prequels. It can be a continuation, kind of like Star Wars, Harry Potter, you name it, kind of like stuff like that. So with that, it's really interesting to see. So, but yeah, you just never know. But at the same time though, I wouldn't be surprised if the Duffer Brothers and actors come out and say hey, we. It's funny seeing how how your reactions are, and and how you're so passionate about about what we have made. So with that, I think it could be answered, or maybe they design the ending in a way to be it helps us question and think about what could have happened. And it's kind of it reminds me a little bit of the Marvel what ifs. I don't know. I've seen some of them, so I don't really know a whole lot about them, to be honest. But it's kind of well, what if this was different? What if that was different? And and it makes us how and that's the thing, and so maybe how they wrote out season 5, and if it's true that the plot holes were intentional, it's kind of it makes you kind of think well, what if this happened, or what if what if that was whole Vecna's whole it was all just a vision of Vecna. Who knows? But but I guess the possibilities and the theories are endless with it, and that's the whole point. So it's really interesting to kind of if you were to piece it all together, and I think that's kind of what why they kind of maybe added those little stuff in. And yeah, I think most of it they added. I feel if you're gonna want to because even before season 5, the show has been heavily theorized. They know it, and even I remember watching Jimmy on the when the Duffer Brothers went on to Jimmy Fallon, they were talking about how, like, we've seen all the theories about how it ended and no one got it right. So yeah, I mean, that could be referring to some people interpret that as, oh, that's a hidden ninth episode, or that could just be like, how things ended with 11 and the rest of the crew. But yeah, I mean, like, but the whole point is, like, yeah, the theories are kind of like endless. You can come up with a bunch of things about what could happen, what not. But I mean, yeah, but we'll see what happens though, and what is all talked about in January 12th. And heck, yeah, we may get some unseen footage, even if it's like an additional 30 minutes or so, or maybe yeah, it could just be a fake documentary. It's an actual another episode. Because I mean, technically, when you think about it, the documentary is it isn't another episode, or it's technically an episode. But at the same time, though, like, yeah, I mean, but you don't have to get your hopes up about it. But I think, but even if there isn't an episode 9, like, it's not the end of the world if it's not answered, because really, like, and that's the thing, we don't really know any full details about what this spinoff could be about, what the Duffer Brothers are going to be putting together. That's supposed to be a live action. I mean, I've heard some things about how it could just be about a spinoff regarding, Nancy working with, or working as a news editor, or working as a reporter. I mean, my bad. Could be something about that, or it could be about something else, and and the spinoff could answer everything that happened at the end of Stranger at the end of this, without having to say, like, oh, well, we don't need a 9th episode. It can be answered in a spinoff. So with that, I mean, it's completely endless. So it's really interesting in seeing how, how things ended. So I guess it's starting to, the more I think about it and try to process everything that's happened, it's like, they got our hopes up and, they didn't, but yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see kind of if at the very least the Duffer Brothers say, if they explain like their perspective behind all these little hints, if some of them are intentional, because I mean to me, some of them are pretty much intentional, or they just wanted to egg on the theory, because it's just doing it for fun reasons to see how the fan base is going to react. So I mean, yeah, I mean, so there's endless possibilities about why this whole theory started and what could happen, but it's definitely interesting for sure. And yeah, it's gonna be fun to kind of watch the documentary, kind of see all the behind footage, all the behind scenes footage of the actors, the directors, and kind of talking about why they wanted to make the show, what kind of arcs they were planning to go with. I mean, yeah, I mean, and that's the whole point of a document, of the behind the scenes documentary. They'll kind of go into that and kind of explain things. So it's gonna be interesting to watch come January 12th, and yeah, we'll just see what happens. And yeah, it's still very cool how it ended, and just being able to watch all of it. So yeah, but overall, yeah, that's those are kind of some of my thoughts about it. And yeah, so with that, yeah, I just want to give you guys some of my thoughts about it, and and just see what happens comes January 12th. So yeah, so whatever, so I'm sure all the big fans are going to be watching it. I mean, I may watch some of it. We'll see. I mean, it just depends on the time. But yeah, so some of the time I have, or whenever it may be. But yeah, but I'm sure some of the diehard fans that are oh, well, it has to be an episode 9. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably watch it and see if there is anything. But we'll see. But I mean, it's still definitely fun to kind of come up with all these potential theories of what could happen and whatnot, but it's definitely interesting for sure. So, but either way, I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts about this, and yeah, we'll find out what, kind of find out maybe potentially the perspective and why, the Duffer Brothers made the show, and, kind of everyone's experience behind the show, from the actors and everything like that. And yeah, we'll just see and just enjoy and have a good time watching it, for those who do watch it or don't, or eventually watch it, who knows. So yeah, but those are some of my thoughts about it. And just kind of see you guys, or then we'll watch on January 12th, and just see what happens then.